A lot of you might be in a relationship where you have, it's built on friendship, it's built on affection, but I feel like it's not built on love. Okay, so figuring that out for yourself, whether or not you want to stay in a relationship anymore, because I feel like there is definitely very, very strong camaraderie, mutual respect. And I don't feel this is a marriage. I feel like this is more of a dating, like somebody that you started dating recently or have, committed to, but it's built on friendship, which is great, but and it's also built on stability. But I feel like passion, romance, lust, those really strong feelings that you crave in relationships are not there. So you want to, pretty much work that out and see if that's something you still want to stay in, okay? Because I don't feel you're going to be short of romantic prospects. So you want to just, if you're not feeling it, if you're not feeling the love, then get out of it. Get out of it. Don't stay for any other reasons other than the fact that you love them and you want to share your life with them. So if it's I don't feel like you're dealing with bad people. It's just like if you're not feeling the love or the chemistry or the attraction, you want to see if A, you can change it. If you don't want to change it, then, better to leave than to upset or, hurt the other person down the line, okay? So it's best to be truthful. It's best to be truthful, but I feel like the people that you're dealing with are just as stubborn and as fixed as you. So it might be hard to get them to come around to your point of view or your to see things from your perspective. Okay, so I have enough cards here. Okay, so let's talk about the first two cards here. We do have the Ten of Pentacles as well as the Magician, the Alchemist. So income generating potential, once again, it is through the roof. And for a lot of you, you've been having major, major successes on the finance front for the last few months. And this is going to bode well for your future. I do feel for a lot of you, there might be a situation where you're studying up on something, possibly even investment opportunities, where you can like double or triple your investments, okay? Expanding your investment portfolios as well as looking through like either like estate planning or family assets or things that you have like that might be so you might have like money in stock holding and you're trying to find ways to invest them, or you're trying to find ways to increase their gains, or you're trying to find ways to liquidate them. That's what I'm getting. So like something from the virtual realm is being liquidated, is being turned into like real financial assets, okay, like real money. For a lot of you, there might be like additional research coming through where you are thinking about possibly ways to enhance your income generating opportunities, potential, or even things that you can do so that you can make more money. And either way, it looks to me to be very, very positive, okay? What I'm also sensing as well, the Ten of Pentacles usually indicates some type of generational wealth coming through for you. So a lot of you might be dealing with physical, like estate planning, physical properties, and you're trying to find ways to take care of them, or you're trying to find ways to cut down on the costs of maintaining these physical properties. So for example, if somebody might have passed away in the past few months and they left you a property to manage, there might be cousins, uncles, and things like that living in that property, so you can't exactly kick them out. So you're trying to find ways to handle this situation, and you're trying to find ways to do it in a very streamlined manner. But either way, your financial situation looks to me to be very good. For a lot of you too, there might be, if you're thinking about contemplating like writing something, publishing something, like some type of literature, some type of book, some type of research article, or something like that. I do feel that it requires sifting through history, is what I'm feeling, like sifting through history to get to the root of the problem. So, for example, if you're publishing something in the now and your scope is only limited from the now until like going back 50 years, I feel like that the advice here is if you want more depth, if you want a better level of analysis, dig deeper. Like I would say possibly a century earlier, just to see how things have progressed. That way your writing, your level of analysis has a lot more depth, and it's a lot more succinct and believable. Okay, so that's the message for the first cluster here. Let's see, for a lot of you, there might be divorce situations as well, legal issues pertaining to children. So we do have the generational wealth card here, and we have a situation in which people might be wanting to stay together because of family obligations. So a lot of you might be in a situation where you are no longer in love with the other person, you're kind of detached from the other person, and or you're together, but there's no more chemistry in that relationship, okay? So you're not like physically intimate, and you're together either for to help take care of elderly parents or because of the children. So I feel like for a lot of you who have been dealing with that, this is the month in which some decisions are going to be made on the court system or on the justice system pertaining to children. And once again, it's going to go many, many ways. But I do feel here that there might be situations where, you know, the dad gets one of, and traditionally, the court, they usually assign the children to the mother. But for some reason, I'm getting with this spread that it might be the father getting the child, or the father fighting for both kids, or there might be some restrictions pertaining to like restraining order against a male figure. So if it deals with children, I feel like there might be some restraining orders against like some male figure in the midst or surrounding these children. But either way, it's going to end well. And I do feel that, you know, no matter what, the children are protected, and that's all we care about, right? But I do sense like it's a very non-traditional type of outcome where the father might be assigned guardianship, or there might be like an elderly family member assigned guardianship, partial guardianship, or full-time custody or partial custody of the children. So there is something like that pertaining to children. What I'm also getting for you is in terms of people that are around you and in terms of communication, okay? We do have the Prince of Wands and the Princess of Swords. So this is the Page of Swords here. So the Page of Swords traditionally deals with a situation where we don't have all the information just yet, and we need to do a little bit more background research. We need to do a little bit more studying, or we need to do more observation. So for a lot of you, you might be dealing with an air sign, so Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, who gives you messages, who seem to be very spontaneous, but I feel like what you see is not always what you get. So you want to do a little bit more digging. You want to spend more time and converse with this person, because I feel like there's a lot more than meet the eyes, okay? They might seem a little bit harsh, abrasive. They might like push people away, either by their attitude, their demeanor, or by their words. But what I feel is like this is somebody who does crave attention. They do want closeness. They do want, you know, harmonious relationships, friendships. But through their actions, they're inadvertently pushing people away, or they're kind of like keeping people at arm's length. So they're not very warm and friendly and welcoming. But I do feel there's more than meet the eye. So you might want to, you know, give this person like the benefit of the doubt before you cast them off as, oh, they don't want to be with me, or they're just very nonchalant. So give people the benefit of the doubt, okay? For those of you who are dealing with a fire sign, so fire sign Sagittarius, Leo, and Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries, excuse me. For some of you, this might be the same person. It could be like an air sign with like a fire sign moon, or fire sign with an air sign moon. But I feel like it might be an air sign with possibly a fire sign moon. So if you're dealing with this energy, it could be the same person. But what I'm getting here with the Prince of Wands is you're dealing with somebody who's very adventurous, who's very well traveled. They kind of like come and go as they please. They don't really have many restrictions. They might be a little bit younger than yourself. So they might be, you know, I would say like in their 20s to 30s. You might be older. And I feel like that's what I that's why I'm sensing that there is almost like what you see is not what you get. So don't prejudge or don't judge too prematurely. There might be a generational gap, so you might not understand where they're coming from. But it seems like they're here 1 minute, out the door the next. So they might not have that ability to stay around. But the point here is that I feel there needs to be some communication between you and the other person. And I feel almost like the time window is very, very small in order for you to get the communication started, because I feel like they're all over the place and it might not be convenient timing. It might not be on your side when it comes to this person. So when you get a chance, just, open yourself up for dialogue, and they're going to gradually, let their sword down, let their defenses down in order to engage with you. But I feel almost like they're here tomorrow, gone the next. But I don't feel they're blasting through your life and being disruptive with your life. I just feel that they travel a lot. They're just, they're transient. They move around a lot. So that's why I don't feel that they're purposely disrupting your life. Okay. For others of you who are dealing with this type of energy, I feel like somebody is sparking your passion, is what I'm feeling. I feel like somebody in your presence is sparking your passion, and you're trying to figure out how to approach them, how to communicate with them. Okay. And that's a beautiful energy. So keep at it. I do feel that, if it's passion, I usually feel like it is very mutual as well. So let's talk about your emotional state. So we have here the Four of Cups and the Emperor. Okay, so this comes in as well when it deals with your life path and basically spiritual guidance that you're supposed to take note of and that you're supposed to kind of take into account. Okay, the Emperor usually deals with like a spiritual figure that has passed on the other side, and is trying to connect with you and is trying to tell you what is the right path for you to take. And it's like basically spiritual guidance coming through for you. And I feel like for a lot of you, you might be resisting it. Okay, you might be resisting it. What I'm feeling here is your spirit guides are trying to guide you down a path where you can let go of burdens, restrictions, and you can put things to rest that were not making you happy. I feel for a lot of you, you're taking this stance, and you can be male or female, but I feel that your stance is that you're taking the weight of the world on your shoulders, and then you're trying to like manage everyone else's problems. You're trying to be the fixer, and you're trying to make everything all right for everybody. And as a result of it, you become very emotionally depleted. Okay? So I feel like this spiritual figure or the spiritual message that is coming through here is that you need to take care of yourself first, and you're not supposed to like get yourself to the point where you're caught up in other people's life problems and karmic lessons. When you do that, it deprives the other person of their ability to exercise their free will. It also is a major distraction for you from dealing with your own problems. Okay, so I feel like drawing boundaries this month is going to be very vital for you, so that you can fix things in your own life, so that you can focus on yourself. That's the first message I'm getting here with the Emperor. The second message that I'm getting here is that I feel there is somebody that is divinely trying to like it's divinely guided into your life. I don't feel like it's a new person. I don't feel like it's a new person. Let me see. Yeah, I don't sense that it's a new person. Like it's a brand new person. I feel like somebody is being divinely guided into your life. This is somebody that you've never dated before. And I feel that in the process of keeping yourself stuck with like unhealthy or unhappy relationships, keeping yourself stuck because of, financial issues, keeping yourself in relationships because of financial issues and things like that, I feel like you're depriving yourself of opportunities to really enjoy your life and to really open up. And I do sense as well, going back to the initial message that I was picking up, you're kind of at an impasse with somebody. They know what they want and they're not going to change their mind. And you feel almost like, oh, they will change their mind. I just have to bide my time. I feel like you're wasting your time. And the universe is basically telling you to move on. Okay, so don't sit there and ruminate and just watch life pass you by. Take up new opportunities, go out and, live your own life. If you even want the other person to change their mind, just don't push for a specific outcome, because I feel like you're facing some major obstacles here, and it's kind of like the battle, the clash of wills. So they're not going to change their mind, unfortunately, Scorpio. So, take care of you, do you, and just move past this, okay? Now, in terms of your advice, we do have the Two of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Fool. So let's talk about these things first. I'm going to talk about the Fool. This is basically forging a new path for yourself. Drop your excess baggage. This can be people, situations, friendships that have been burdensome. People taking advantage of you, or at least, trying to take care of everybody else's problems, or telling other people how they should, live, how they should conduct themselves, or how they should do certain things. I feel that, with everybody in our lives, okay, this is regardless of signs. People don't like it when advice is offered unsolicited, okay? People don't like to be preached to. So I feel like one of the things that you want to be mindful about is the way you communicate. And especially, I know that you're very good about protecting your boundaries, but sometimes you feel you have a lot of knowledge as well. So you feel like someone is doing something inefficiently. You want to offer your 2 cents, but there is a reason why they're doing it the way they're doing it. And I feel that that might be where your advice is kind of like unsolicited, and there might be some type of resistance or purposeful like resentment coming from the other party. So the point here is letting go of that emotional baggage, letting go of people, traveling light, letting go of old ways of behaving, so that you can allow yourself to invite more positive energies into your own life. Okay, so this is basically a brand new chapter for you. Start over, out with the old, in with the new. And I feel this is going to be much better for you. And I do sense as well, the universe is guiding somebody to cross your paths, but they can't do that if you have so much emotional baggage holding you back. So clean slate. Aim to start with a clean slate, and the universe will bring the right person along your path, okay? What I'm also feeling here is that I feel for a lot of you, you know what you need to do, but you're still balancing things out, or you're not making that decision just yet, because you might be in a situation where you are financially worried. You might have like 2 properties that you're taking care of, that you're paying the bills on. So for example, if you recently got divorced, for example, you might be paying alimony, you might be paying for the house, for the kids and the ex-wife, and then you have your own house. So, it's a financially draining type of lifestyle. And I do feel that if that's the case, you might want to revisit some type of stipulations in the law, so that you can at least, try to reduce the amount of alimony or child support that you're paying. Keep your finances in check, okay? You're making a lot of money, but it's also leaving just as fast, so be careful about this. What I'm also feeling here with the Eight of Pentacles, and this is basically the advice here, I do feel the next love relationship is somebody linked up with your work sector, is what I'm feeling. This is basically, the 8 is something that we work very, very diligently at. I do sense that for a lot of you, you might be distracting yourself. You might not want to come home because there's some type of a walking on eggshells situation at home. There might be arguments. There might be a lot of like stubborn energy at home where you're kind of, it's not entirely harmonious within the home. So I feel that you might spend a lot of time on the work front. You might encounter, the energy for temptation. Not, I don't feel so much temptation, but you would rather spend time with coworkers than being at home and dealing with, practical stuff on the home front. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're working very diligently, and I feel like that's good for you. Make sure you take adequate time for rest, okay? Because I feel like spiritual message as well, similar to Aquarius, spiritual message is trying to come through for you. But I feel like, I trust Scorpios know what they're doing. Aquarius are the ones that kind of push themselves beyond their limits, and then they burn themselves out. But Scorpios know when they need to. You're very responsive to your body's needs, so I don't need to tell you to get sleep. But I do feel that, once again, going back to if for those of you who are working on a project, and if it deals with anything like pertaining to publishing, I feel like digging back, looking through history, digging at something that transpired like possibly a century ago would be very beneficial for you. I feel that coming in with the 10 of Pentacles, which deals with the generations. And then once again with this 8 of Pentacles, where you're kind of like on the last leg of something. And I feel like, giving it a little bit more historical context, giving it a little bit more depth would be beneficial for you, okay? So overall, a very good month. I feel finances, starting over, and traveling light, and basically weeding out elements from your life that are not working. One of the things that I want to emphasize again is going back to the initial message where I mentioned you're dealing with somebody and they're kind of like putting their feet down, and they're like no, and you're just trying to persuade them. I feel that you need to really figure out what it is that you're getting at, what it is that you want from the interaction with them, rather than trying to persuade them. I feel like you're very, very firm. They're also very firm. And if you think about it, you're very firm because you believe in your conviction, right? The other people, likewise, they're also just as firm in their conviction. So you're not going to get anywhere. And, don't waste your time with those type of situations. And especially if there's some kind of like hostility, resentment, being in a relationship where you're no longer feeling that passion, or somebody's like using sex or affection as a bargaining tool or as leverage, that is extremely manipulative. So you want to be aware of that, okay? I feel like for a lot of you that might be something that's happening. So then you'd rather be at work. So I feel like that there is some underlying like undercurrent of a power play regarding like a significant other, and how they're using like sex as like leverage to get you to do something, or you might be likewise using that to get the other person to do something. And it's creating like a major rift between the two people. So just be careful about that, okay, Scorpios? So I'm going to go on to your love relationship reading. Give me a moment. Let me get the cards shuffled out. Yeah, I feel like the friendship within the relationship might be corroding because of it. So just be mindful of that. And, if that is something that you feel your significant other is doing, have a talk. Have a talk, call them out on it, because that is very manipulative. So let's see your love and relationship for May 2016. I'm going to pull one more card because I'm getting the Sun in reverse, but I feel like you deserve another card. Okay, great. All right, so first of all, I'm going to talk about these two later because you have 4 cards here that echo the same theme. First of all, you're no longer stuck in an uncomfortable, untenable situation. You're basically cutting yourself free and you're moving forward, okay? This is a card about sacrifice, and I feel like for the past 3 months, a lot of you might have been in unhealthy relationships or in unhappy relationships for financial reasons or for the children, and you're cutting yourself free. You're no longer bound to this situation. It's corroborated by the death card, which indicates a new phase in your life, a brand new chapter that is happening. One major thing had to end in order for new things to begin. You're also at a place where you have full access to information. This is a card where you're kind of like but you're blindfolded, your hands are tied, and you don't have full information. So you keep yourself stuck in this situation until, because you're not getting the closure that you need, and you're not getting that vital information that is coming through in order for you to move forward, or in order for you to free yourself. And all of this is basically coming through similar energy, same as the death card. All the information you need is there. All those swords are being lifted so that you can move on, okay? We also have the 10 of Wands in the reverse. So all of these cards are, it's the same theme, which is dropping dead weight from your life and just walking away from it without any regrets. So I feel that overall there's massive transformation in the romance sector. A lot of you are basically divorce paperwork and things like that. Everything is finalized. Everything is finalized. You can go, and your freedom of movement is no longer restrictive, okay? It is no longer restricted. So you can move on, and there's no excuse for you to move on, to not move on from this. You are no longer in an uncomfortable situation. The only thing that I'm feeling might be a problem here is if you know, sometimes we when we have been in a situation for way too long, when we've had a partnership for way too long, we don't know what to do with ourselves. With this newfound freedom, we just don't know what to do. So it feels a little bit strange, and I feel like that's where you're transitioning. We had a full moon in Scorpio as well last month. So I feel like a lot of this is really new to a lot of you, this newfound sense of freedom. And you don't really know what to do with yourself. But I feel like a lot of information came to light last month, and you have severed ties, okay? You have severed ties with people. You have pretty much weaned people out of your life, okay? I feel like we do have as well the Sun card in the reverse position. So if we were looking at signs, I feel strong air sign and strong fire sign. So let's talk about the air sign. When it comes to the air sign, there is a victory here, okay? So this is Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. I feel like for those of you who are dealing with an air sign, sun, moon, or rising, this air sign is very instrumental to the next phase in your life. So if this is somebody new that you're dating, I feel that this is somebody that will be in the next phase in your life. So they're going to be around, they're going to be quite significant. They're also going to teach you a lot so that you can move forward, or in the process of moving forward with them, dating them. There is going to be a lot of like, they're basically coming in. If you haven't met them already, they might be soon in the picture, but they're basically coming in, and you both are going to walk together for quite some time in the next phase of your life. So they might be around for quite some time. For those of you who have recently dated a fire sign, Sagittarius, Leo, Aries, or you are still dating them, you're kind of thinking that the relationship is not bringing you the emotional fulfillment. There might be passion lacking in the relationship, or the relationship might just have been very physical. But over time, I feel like they're pushing you for more, and you're not ready for that yet. Either that, or I feel almost like there's some disconnect within the interaction between you, or within the romance in the relationship. So the other person might have been the one to walk away, or you yourself might be the one to walk away out of this relationship. I feel like for a lot of you, you're transitioning from a fire sign to an air sign. And the air sign, it's going to take a lot of work. It's challenging. And this is a victory card. So it basically victory over much struggle. Okay. So it's not going to be an easy process, but I do feel that there's a lot on offer here. There's a lot of learning, a lot of compromise, and a lot of like just this person will make you into a better person, I feel. They're bringing with them a sense of enlightenment as well. They're going to get you to see things from a different perspective. And I do feel you likewise can get them to see things from a different perspective. Now, Scorpio, you're a fixed sign, so you are very, very like opinionated. Once you made up your mind about something, you rarely change it, okay? But I do feel air signs are very philosophical. They will allow you to approach situations and problems and, philosophical like insights. They can give you a lot of good insights that might change your mind for the better. So, just be aware that the energy is going to be different. So you might come from a relationship that was very smoldering and just really passionate, and you're dealing with a person that is more cerebral, more logical, because that's the nature of an air sign. But there is a lot to be had in this relationship in terms of emotional, mental, spiritual development overall. Okay. For those of you who are in relationships where you're dating each other exclusively, I do feel that. Okay, so let's just say if there has been an impasse, if there has been like, very recent like miscommunication or communication problems, one person is like very passionate, the other person seems a little bit standoffish, and there might have been an impasse between the two of you. There is going to be some major revelation communication coming through that will allow you both to move on from this situation, okay? So we see a situation where it's more about the truth, it's more about solutions, it's more about working together to find a common ground and to communicate better, rather than letting our egos take the best of us or get the best of us, rather than arguing just to win an argument, just to rub it in the other person's face. So I feel like some resolution coming through regarding you and your significant other about how to move how to overcome relation I would say more communication problems, and how not to argue with one another from purely egotistical standpoints. Okay, so I feel like it's more about the truth, it's more about honesty, and wanting to have very candid conversations with one another about where this relationship is headed. So either way, there is going to be some major positive revelation, transformation in the relationship that will allow you both to move forward.